My name is Jason, and this is Just Watches. Alright, today we have a watch that I've been hunting for a while. I just didn't see the right sale, and then all of a sudden AliExpress had a great sale, and I got this for $105 shipped. This is the Cadisen Sapphire Diamond C8907. So this is what I believe to be the cheapest watch powered by a Miyota 9015 that exists. Please correct me in the comments below if you know of another one. But I wanted this watch for two reasons. One, I really wanted to check it out for myself. I saw the review on Just One More Watch, and I've kind of been intrigued by it since then. And then two, I've gotten into the tinkering side of the hobby, and I really want to strip down and rebuild a Miyota 9015, but buying just the movement alone costs more than $100. So in this case, I got a watch as well as the movement for less than what I would have paid for just the movement. So that's what we call a win-win. So as always, we're going to do specifications, pros, cons, and then if I think that this watch is worth the money. But before we begin, if you're enjoying the content of this channel, I invite you to subscribe. And if you enjoyed the contents of this individual video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much. The stainless steel case is 40 millimeters in case diameter. It's 46 millimeters lug to lug. It's only about 10.5 millimeters thick and then has a 20 millimeter lug width. Now the shape of the case, it's kind of this bowl construction, and then there's three parts. There's the case back, and then the top has the bezel and the crystal. I do like, it's all high polished, which is fine. This is a dressy style watch. And then I do like that the lugs curve down slightly. It helps in the wear overall, and I just kind of like how they look. They have kind of a cool sleek angle to them as they come off the case there. So there's a couple of strap options. I opted for this mesh bracelet. It's 20 millimeters and it doesn't taper. It just goes all the way down to the clasp itself. So the one thing I really like about this mesh bracelet is the extra part goes underneath. So when you're wearing on a wrist, you don't see any of that sticking out. Operation took me a little bit of a while to get used to. It's signed Cadisen. It has this safety catch, and then it also has this which deploys out like this. And then this little clasp here hangs on this spring bar. So you hang it on the spring bar, and then you clip it down here, and then you clip down the safety catch. Now it doesn't clip down, it feels kind of loose. I feel like if you yanked on it, it would kind of come out. But the fact that you do have a double deployment here, I think it'll be fine. To adjust it, it actually came with the world's smallest screwdriver. So I'll show you, it's really cute actually. So there's this really little screwdriver, and you can use it to get under there, and you kind of deploy this part on the very bottom, which then lets you slide this up and down. You can see that it's about in the middle of this side of the bracelet. So I think it accommodate many different size wrists. So overall, it's very comfortable throughout the day. I do actually really like this mesh bracelet, and I think it gives a good look to the watch overall. Flipping the watch over reveals an exhibition case back, and it's actually held down by these 6 screws. And there's some information to see around the edge of the glass on the back here, most important of which is 5 atmospheres of water resistance. It's fine in a dressy style watch like this, but just keep in mind you're probably not going to want to get this one wet. And then they did do a little bit of clever decoration. So that's the Cadisen logo right there, and it looks like they applied it to the inside of the glass of this crystal. So they kind of put their seal on the rotor in a very clever and inexpensive way. And then of course, this is the star of the show. This movement is the Miyota 9015. So this is a 28,800 vibration per hour hacking hand winding movement with a 42-hour power reserve and a stated accuracy of -10 to +30 seconds per day. It also features the date. Now, I love this movement for a number of reasons and prefer it to the Seiko NH35, which is often used instead. For one, the Miyota movement is over 1 millimeter slimmer than the NH35, which usually translates into a thinner watch overall. The only real downside is that it has unidirectional winding, so occasionally you will get rotor noise when the rotor free spins in the non-winding direction. However, it isn't that bad on this particular model. And then there is some decoration just on every 90015. There's some Geneva style striping on that main plate, and some of the components are a different color, so actually I kind of like looking at this movement overall. And then when we get it on the Timegrapher, you're going to see that this one is performing beautifully. The 6mm push-pull crown is signed with the Cadisen logo, and it's the correct size to easily operate this watch. So the sapphire crystal is ever so slightly double domed, and while I don't think they applied any anti-reflective coating in this case, it's really nice to get a sapphire crystal at this price point. I really wish my cocktail time, my Seiko cocktail time from last week had a sapphire crystal, as it was 3 times the price of this watch. So that brings us to the dial and my first couple of major complaints. So the dial itself is fine. It's white, and then in certain lights it has a slight pearlescent sheen to it, which is pretty cool. However, I don't like that they wrote Sapphire under Cadisen at 12 o'clock. It's kind of a weird place for it. And then they also wrote Diamond above automatic at the 6 o'clock. So one of the themes of this watch, which I think is very cheesy, very gimmicky, is that at the 12 o'clock index, which is shaped like a diamond, which I don't like, first of all, there's a very, very small diamond embedded in it as well. So I'm indifferent to the validity of this statement, if the diamond is real or not. The index itself is just horrible, and the diamond theme is so gimmicky. I think if they had used a double index, the same kind of style as, the rest of these indices are great. They're faceted. They catch light on 3 different angles. Just put a double at the 12 o'clock, drop the whole diamond theme altogether, drop diamond from the 6 o'clock position. I think this would greatly improve this watch. I think it's so cheesy and so gimmicky. I just don't like it. And then the date window is even framed nicely, and they maintained that 3 o'clock indice very well. And then there's just the dots for each of the individual minutes between the indices. I think the dial overall is great. Just please shed the diamond theme. While the dolphin style hour and minute hands are gabled and catch light nicely, they're a little bit small, I feel, for the overall size of the dial. Now, I have a normal pet peeve, which is that I like a really long minute hand, and this minute hand is a tad short. I'd love it if it terminated all the way out at the dots for the minutes, but kind of separate from that, I just feel like these hands are slightly off. They're slightly small, but it might just be my perception. And then I like that they use a blue second hand. It's probably just painted here. I doubt this is heat treated, but it adds a nice splash of color to the watch overall. And then there's no lume on this watch whatsoever, but that's fine. This is a dressy style watch, and generally you wouldn't expect to have lume on a watch of this style. So popping it on the Timegrapher. Now remember, Miyota's stated accuracy is -10 to +30 seconds a day, but we are hovering around -1, -2, 0 seconds a day, healthy amplitude, minimal beat error. And remember, this watch was $105 shipped, so it's pretty nice when you can get a movement that is this accurate, and I think on large part it's due to the fact that these Miyota 9000 series are very good movements. So here is the watch on my 6 3/4 inch wrist. Remember, it's 40 millimeter case diameter, 46 millimeters lug to lug, and then only 9.5 millimeters thick. So at 40 millimeters, it's kind of that sweet spot. It's going to fit a lot of different wrist sizes. I prefer 38 millimeters here, but I think it looks fine at 40 millimeters. So pros and cons, starting with the pros. The set of specs you're getting in this watch is excellent. The Miyota 9015 is used in micro brand watches costing up to $1,000. So the fact that you're getting that movement in a watch that's 1/10 of the price and having it run almost 0 seconds a day is an extreme value. You're also getting sapphire crystal here. And then the bracelet is a nice touch. It's quite comfortable, but I'm also glad this came at 20 millimeter lug width because that's the most commonly available size for aftermarket straps. If you wanted to dress it up, maybe put it on a leather or put it on any other kind of strap choice that you might enjoy. As for cons, the diamond is gimmicky and I don't care for it. I think the watch would be so much better without it. The handset I wish was a touch larger. I think it just feels slightly off for me, but that might be just my own individual perception. And then lastly, this is just a personal preference, but I think if this watch was 38 millimeters, I would like it so much better than 40 millimeters. It's a dressier style piece, and I just think those serve you well if they're a little bit smaller. So is this watch worth the money? Well, right now on AliExpress, they look like they're listed for $150, but if you wait for a sale, I got this for, I think $95, about total was $105 shipped from AliExpress. It took 16 days to arrive. So let's set realistic expectations. This watch is not going to blow you away when you get your hands on it. It's not some miracle of a watch, but it is super solid. It has a sapphire crystal and a great movement. So if you're not a stickler on brand history and you just want a watch that will serve its purpose, you can't deny this watch is going to do exactly that. And with a 20 millimeter lug width, like I said, you're going to have limitless strap options if you want to get creative. So I don't think this particular watch has a home in my personal collection, but if you have $100 to spend on a dressy style watch, you are so much better off just buying this watch if you don't mind that it's coming from this Cadisen brand than almost any other watch. So if the diamond part of it doesn't bother you personally, I can definitely recommend it. So there you guys have it, the Cadisen Sapphire Diamond C8907. What do you guys think about this watch? Leave a comment in the comment section below. As always, if you're enjoying the content of this channel, I invite you to subscribe. And if you like the contents of this individual video, please give it a thumbs up. That's all for this time. My name is Jason, and you have been watching Just Watches.